you believe in the hag? This is all things creepy. Let's begin. Approximately 1 year ago I made a video about the hag. Now the average person might have never heard of the hag, but there are a lot of people who have experienced the same thing.
The hag was laying on top of me.
So I felt it necessary to expand on some of the points made. The hag is actually an official neurological symptom. It's described as the old hag attack. For you to have experienced an official old hag attack, you would have had to have seen an old lady during a hypnagogic state involving some kind of paralysis, specifically sleep paralysis. Now these symptoms are experienced all over the world in all different cultures. An average experience might be you wake up, you can't move, you see a strange old woman walk towards you, move towards you, and usually apply some kind of pressure to you, and you're paralyzed completely, you can't move. Now this is experienced all over the world, which is quite bizarre, especially considering a lot of the experiences are quite similar to each other in description. As a result, many have suggested maybe this is some kind of entity, maybe it's spiritual, who knows, demonic even. Needless to say, psychology is a very young science, and the study of dreams even younger. There are many things we don't know. When we dream, our mind is effectively hallucinating. We're seeing things that aren't actually there. As a result, our body tends to shut down. A chemical is released that shuts down your muscles and paralyzes you effectively so that you don't go wandering off in your sleep. Of course, sometimes this goes wrong. That's where we have sleepwalking. However, it can also go wrong in the other way, which is sleep paralysis. You wake up, your eyes are open, but your body is still paralyzed. And as a result, that same chemical is also still triggering those hallucinations. So while you are wide awake, your body is still effectively asleep. And so is your brain partially, you're still dreaming. So if you're having a nightmare, you will project some of those images onto the real world, which can be quite terrifying. Sleep paralysis is actually quite common. A lot of people experience it, and it can be as simple as sleeping in an odd position that triggers it. Now, there have been many different experiences of sleep paralysis. For instance, shadow people are also quite common. I'll make a video on them in the future. But probably the most common is the hag. So why is that? Let's try and approach it from a scientific perspective. During sleep paralysis, someone is effectively having a nightmare when they see this horrible image while they're awake. And nightmares often reflect something that you're concerned about in the real world. Now, I think it's safe to say that the most common thing people are afraid of is death. Everyone is afraid of death all the time. It's always a possibility that we have to deal with. Now, what represents death? Maybe the Grim Reaper? But what about old people? What about people that look like they are so old they could die at any minute? A lot of us have loved ones that are old, grandparents, grandmothers. The mother is something often associated with life. Human life comes from the mother. She produces the baby. So perhaps this withering, aging old woman is some kind of representation of the deep-seated fear that we have of everything we enjoy in our life coming to an end, of dying. Something that is universal in every culture and we can't really avoid. Or it could be an evil demon, I don't know. I think it's safe to say that it's pretty fascinating though. I'll be doing a follow-up video on the hag and I'd like your input. So if you've experienced the hag or any kind of sleep paralysis, leave in the comments below your exact experience, write it nice and eloquently, and I shall read it out in the follow-up video. Thank you all for watching. Like this video if you did, share it with a friend, and of course, if you haven't already, subscribe for more creepy content.